Battalion Chief Mike Wink is here. So Mr. Wink, come on down.
So I have a couple of things to mention to the group. We're all here together. So like she said, my name is Mike Wink. I'm the CAL FIRE Battalion Chief, but I also work for your local South Lake County Fire Protection District, which provides your normal ambulance service and other firefighting and rescue EMS services. So one project that comes to the top of the list, obviously, is the emergency notification siren system that South Lake County Fire Protection District and CAL FIRE partnered with the Sheriff's Department, OES, after the community meetings about looking at adding another layer of situational awareness in the case of emergency, disaster, or evacuation is necessary. So there, we looked at the fire district as being the first in the county to install the emergency notification siren system at our existing fire stations, because those used to use that technology, but hasn't been used since the 80s. So, in purchasing new sirens and putting them at those locations, and then looking at a new location there to service the community of Anderson Springs. So we have partnered with our friends there at Calpine at their warehouse facility on Socrates Mine Road. They're at the mouth of the canyon. There's a very large siren just outside the building here to the east. If you look, there's a giant metal or a wooden crate with a big metal siren inside, so that's the siren that will be placed in Anderson Springs. I was hoping that it would actually be installed by now. That has been delayed multiple times. In February, we're supposed to get the telephone poles delivered, and then sometime shortly after February 5th, they'll be working to get them installed. And then we'll be working with Lake County OES and the Sheriff's Department for testing to make sure they work, and then they'll be communicating via Nixle and other sources on when, like, official testing will be coming. So to make sure everybody knows, like, if you won't hear it for 30 seconds, that's just a test. If you hear something for 3 minutes, then that's time to raise your situational awareness, to go to your social media, to go to your phone, go to your radio, phone a friend, phone a neighbor, or whatever phone tree you have, to someone who does maybe have internet if you don't, or does have phone where you don't, something like that. So that's that layer of additional information that we're trying to partner with OES and provide the community. Those siren will be in Loch Lomond, Cobb, Anderson Springs, Middletown, thanks to our final funding from our friends at Middletown Rancheria and Twin Pines Casino. Just recently funded the balance of those funds needed for the Middletown siren, somewhere around $22,000. The mitigation committee in Anderson Springs funded the Anderson Springs siren, and then in Cobb also has a fund funded by Calpine for the community, and that group funded the Loch Lomond siren and the Cobb siren. So we have a lot of good cooperation with our friends at Calpine and Twin Pines Middletown Rancheria. So that project is ongoing. Like I said, it'll be implemented by the sheriff and or OES in case of a disaster or emergency. It's not a fire siren. It is an emergency notification siren. So it doesn't, if there's a fire, it's a normal event that's not going to escalate into catastrophe or significant historic fire like we've had in the last couple of years, you should not expect that to go off. If there's a fire up the road, that siren's not going to go off unless it's deemed an emergency with some evacuations or some other type of information, whether it's a fire, a flood, an earthquake, a seismic event, or whatever that case may be.
Where in Anderson Springs did you say was being installed?
At the Calpine warehouse on Socrates.
Oh, okay.
That's right at the mouth of the canyon. Right, they'll be on a 40-foot telephone pole, and they had power and land and easements available and all those types of things.
There's a question over here.
I have a question about the sirens with, like, the last fire with the Tubbs Lane fire. There was absolutely no sirens. There was no sirens on any emergency vehicles or anything. So it was like dead quiet. So can you explain, is that a normal policy in such a disastrous fire? Because you're Cal Fire, if I understand.
So,
Whoa, can you repeat?
So repeat the
Yeah.
question.
so I'm not sure if I understand the question. You're saying on the Tubbs fire,
Yeah.
you were asking about why there are no sirens on emergency vehicles?
Yeah, dead quiet. It was like the eeriest thing. There was no sirens.
Here?
I was
Or emergency vehicles there where the fire
down
was?
there, so I'm asking you because in the Napa Valley there during the fire, I just happened to lose my cell service, so I had to come down the hill to get cell service, and then I could see the fire. So then I still had no cell reception, but there was no sirens or anything going off, and they do have volunteer sirens running up valley that way.
Only the city of St. Helena
Oh, okay.
has a siren.
Well,
Has two
England
sirens.
does too, and they didn't have theirs going.
Well, unfortunately, there wasn't a fire in England.
So it's just.
And
by
when the
location.
vehicles are traveling from point A to point B during an emergency,
Yeah.
they use their siren as needed, but once they get there, then they shut it off. So, and there's not a siren system in, that we are looking at putting out here in this
Okay.
portion of the county, that they don't have those,
Okay, it was just
in
really
other
weird
areas.
to me that there was nothing going on.
Yeah. It
I suspect
I
that'll
can't
all
speak to
change
that.
now.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So were you saying that in the event of the valley fire, we would not hear those sirens, or we would?
You would.
So, if there is a normal, if we have a couple acre vegetation fire or a structure fire or something that we feel confident we're going to be able to
Small and
contain
Yeah.
to a general area, then you should not have the expectation, then why didn't my siren go off in Cobb or Loch Lomond or someplace, or even if it's in Anderson Springs, why didn't, there was a fire at the rec center, the same. And why didn't the siren go off? Well, if it's something that we can handle and there's not going to declare an emergency with the sheriff's department, because the sheriff's department declares an emergency in cooperation with other first responders, whether it's the fire department or somebody else, then you shouldn't have the expectation that whenever something goes on, that's going to happen. It's only for
So you're not
a
gonna
significant event.
warn thousands of people,
Right.
which might only affect 20 people.
Right, if it's
If
gonna be
you
something
think
we
you're
feel
gonna
we can
contain
handle, and then the sheriff's department also gonna have the ability to activate just one or all four of them, and then, of course, now, our Hidden Valley Lake Association has the ability, they funded their own project, but they're gonna be part of the entire system. They just have the funding mechanism to do theirs outside of our fundraising efforts between South Lake County Fire and the sheriff and OES, gathering these wonderful donations from the community and groups and things to do this, because there was no budget, there was no grants. We did apply for grants, we did not receive any of those grants, but we did do it a different way. It's just taken a little longer than anybody would have wanted that to happen.
And 2 years ago, just to remind everyone, 2 years ago, the Anderson Springs Community Alliance contributed $2,000 to the Siren Project for Anderson Springs.
Yeah.
Okay, other questions?
Does siren speak?
No. So it is it's a one-tone system that, like I said, anywhere from 30 seconds or less, it'll be the monthly test. Whether you're in Hidden Valley or you're in Loch Lomond, that's going to be the single message. If it's for 3 minutes, if you hear something unusual and loud, whatever that sound is for 3 minutes, that's something real is going on. You should look outside, phone a friend, look for additional information to become aware of what might be going on.
Check with your elderly neighbors who may not have internet.
Right. Or may not hear it. The other thing is if you're talking to other people outside the area and they're like, oh, I think that's a great idea, we want to do that. There's not sirens in some other areas. Tell those folks that they should budget $25,000 to $30,000 per siren. So if you want a siren, you're like, oh, well, the siren's only $8,000. Well, all the other associated costs, we budgeted $25,000 per siren, and that's been pretty right on. Believe it or not, with the hurricanes that devastated Puerto Rico, that increased the telephone pole cost by several $1,000s per telephone pole because of price and demand. There's only so many of them. A significant amount of them right now are going to help these other devastated areas in Texas and along the other coasts and stuff. So temporarily, that price was increased. I'm sure in the next couple of years, probably that price will come back down. But if somebody wants to talk about a siren, tell them at least $25,000. And that's, Hidden Valley Lake Association has the same input, and so does some other homeowners groups in the county. They're looking to fund their own. So if somebody talks to you about that, give them that number, that's the goal they should be looking for in their communities, at a minimum.
So we're thinking that this test I mean, if we're in Anderson Springs, the test will probably happen March?
Well, I would
April?
say, because I'm sure when they hook up the electricity, hopefully in February sometime, there's going to be some short little bursts of sound. But we're going to, I mean, 'cause they have to make sure it works.
Yeah.
But, you know, like officially, it'll be coming, the Sheriff's Department, OES, is going to work on getting that message out along with Supervisor Simon about, they'll schedule something, they'll use all the mechanisms they have available to schedule that on when the testing would be. And I would think sometime in March is, I think that we can get them installed in February, that should be doable.
All right, do you want to shift gears now?
Quick question, isn't there some type of a test next week, like Wednesday the 30th, Nixie or something?
So Nixle is there's something called Nixle 360,
Yes.
and that's the Sheriff's Department and OES, Office of Emergency Services, is going to be testing their full suite of capabilities with Nixle. Because Nixle, which the county and OES and Sheriff's Department use to communicate with folks, has multiple layers of notification. So they got this new feature, Nixle 360, to streamline all that, and they're going to test it next week. So that's, if you got that information today, that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Does that sound
Yeah,
right? Supervisor?
absolutely.
No text.
Yeah, it just came up today.
Okay.
But do you know if I don't have Nixle, so how would if I don't have Nixle, how would I go about getting it?
So please go to the Lake County Sheriff's Department website, lakecountysheriffs.com, or the .org. You search it, you'll find it. So, and then you need to sign up for Nixle, and then you can also sign up for Code Red, which is their reverse notification system. But you have to sign up. There's only one system available. There's a couple systems that do it automatically, and then there's ones you have to sign up for. So please go to the Sheriff's Department website and click on the links to sign up for Code Red and sign up for Nixle if you want to have that information.
And we'll put that notice on the Anderson Springs Community Alliance website as well as our different Facebook pages.
Yeah, so all you gotta do is go to www.lakesheriff.com
Okay,
and click on the Nixle 360 Services tab.